to the Birdhouse Dynasty show and our Dynasty trade show this evening. Buying vets, yes. Post rookie draft, the most exciting thing to do is to go out and add to your squad, buy some point producing vets to beef up that team you just stacked with some rookies, right? Not so fast, not all the time is that the best thing to do. Sometimes you are in rebuilding, maybe rebuilding phase one. If you're in rebuilding phase two, then maybe it is a good time to go out and acquire some veterans. I'm not saying that right now is a poor time to buy some veterans in the NFL calendar year, but sometimes your team isn't quite ready for that. And we may be seeing some of those examples tonight. Also, some examples of trading away some draft capital that doesn't quite fit the narrative of your roster as well. So, I know right now you think it's a good time to go buy those point producers. Why wait until September when they cost more, right? Well, maybe you should be waiting till this time next year if you're not ready to compete yet. But anyway, there's a lot of different angles to take right now. If you're a contender and maybe you're a little overweight, maybe you have too much value tied up into a certain position. You've got too many running backs now that you've acquired a few rookie running backs. Now's the time to try and look and kick the tires on some of the prices that you might be able to get for them. Sure, the veterans will probably rise in some value, especially the ones that are getting drafted in the first 4 or 5 rounds of redrafts leagues, because those veterans tend to just simply rise in value every year in August, right? But let's get right to it. First deal right now we've got for you. Why don't we just go with the thumbnail one? Yes, we're gonna. Let's see here. Which one do I want to do? Yeah, we'll do this one here. All right, here we go. All right, we're going to start it off with one of the veterans in the thumbnail. That's Jonathan Taylor. Taylor coming off an awesome run last season with some of the championship teams. And so right here in my Dynasty Best Ball Superflex League, that is a 12-team Superflex Start 11 league, and it's just a regular tight end premium league. Right here we had Dale Walters dealing away Zach Charbonnet and two 27 firsts with Sean 6981. He's acquiring Devontae Adams, Jonathan Taylor, and Sean's 26 first. Well, is this a good deal or not for either of these guys? Well, straight up off the cuff, I'm going to lean towards the Dale Walters side. I think that JT, I don't know, I sold him earlier this offseason on a team that was overvalued at the running back position. I had bought JT for the stretch run in that league and won that league, and then turned around and fired him away for the same price that I acquired him for. So that worked out. Now here, and that was a first and a second rounder. And so in this particular case, if you're getting 26 first, which is the earlier of the first. Now, granted, I know everybody is drooling over the 27 firsts right now because of Jeremiah Smith and Archie Manning. Williams from Ryan Williams from Alabama, the receivers. So we got two good receivers and a quarterback that is obviously named Manning, so he probably will be good. And so he's got a buttload of artificial dynasty value right there, right off the cuff for him. But you still get the 26 first if you're Dale Walters. I mean, this one, it's like he got a free Devontae Adams, basically, in my opinion. Zach Charbonnet, just grossly overvalued right now. I mean, he is simply a handcuff to Kenneth Walker. And now he's got to try and beat out Damian Martinez in camp. I mean, who's to say he does that? All right. So, yeah, Zach Charbonnet, good way of getting rid of him for Dale Walters. Charbonnet isn't somebody I love exactly having on my best ball teams. Maybe if I've got Kenneth Walker and I want to play the handcuff game with my running backs in a best ball format, not exactly my cup of tea, but I know people who like doing that. If that's how you want to roster construct, I guess it's all right. But right here, if you play the cross-off game, being the 26 and the regular 27 first should cancel each other out. Both of these guys had good teams, so it's not like one of these firsts is going to be super early. For the Brand has a decent squad, so that 27 first there, I mean, it's 2 years out as well. But yeah, I feel like he got a free Devontae Adams here, so I'm going to lean Dale Walters in this one. All right. So again, the big dog here is Jonathan Taylor, and I mean, in best ball, in a lineup league, I can understand being overvalued in a position, but in best ball, like, you want to put your best foot forward. I don't mind having overvalue at running back or overvalue at wide receiver. Like, I just don't see. I would have tried to get a wide receiver in this case, I guess. Maybe Sean is looking at just blowing it up this year and building towards the 2027 season, and this is the route he decided to start with, because that's definitely looking like what the plan is. And I mean, if he sees for the Brand, or for the Brand must have something that he sees that it's going to be an early, like, top 3 pick, because that's what I'd want to make sure it is if I'm doing that. And who knows who's going to be coming out once the 27 draft actually hits. I mean, I know we like these guys in that class, but, you know, this year, Cam Ward, nobody had him as a first rounder going at this point right now last year. So, yeah, that's what I mean. The 26 class might not look all so great right now, but there'll be some players that'll step up, and it happens every year. Every year, the draft picks get more value, and so that 26 first, if he thinks isn't great, I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. Why would you get rid of your 26 first and give up the contending pieces at the same time? Like, one's counteracting the other. So, not quite sure I love this move here by Sean. And but Dale Walters, I think I like your side definitely here. All right, let's check out another one from our Patreon. Okay, next one is A.J. Brown. All right, so let's bring this up. There we go. All right, so this one we had Chupis dealing with NLS 2K, and so we had Chupis getting AJ Brown, and on the other side, NLS 2K, who, mind you, won this league last year. And this is a 12-team Superflex tight end premium lineup league, start 10. So he gets rid of AJ Brown, and Chupis gives up his 26 first, his 26 first, his 27 second, and 28 second here. So no problem. This happened within a week following the rookie draft. Now, mind you, to start off with, Chupis is coming off of earning himself the 102 pick, which he took Cam Ward, and that was his second quarterback. He does have Jaden Daniels. However, the rest of his squad isn't quite ready to contend yet. I mean, adding A.J. Brown to his roster, let me see if I can bring up his roster quickly for you, just so I can explain what I mean, because this is an example of getting too far ahead of yourself too early. Like, I understand getting excited now that you have a second quarterback, but that doesn't mean that you go out and he gave up too much draft capital without having extra picks. Like, all right, I'm just going to read off the team for you, because then you'll understand what I'm saying about getting ahead of yourself here. So in this league, again, Chupis had the 102 that he earned this year, and so he's got Jaden Daniels and Cam Ward at quarterback. That's it, just Will Levis as well. And then at running back, he is looking at DeAndre Swift, Brian Robinson, and Devin Neal, Tajay Spears. Then at wide receiver, JSN, now AJ Brown, Rashid Shaheed, Wandell Robinson, and Pop Douglas. And then on his bench, Alec Iamaner, and just trash cans. So the point being here, adding A.J. Brown to a roster where your top running backs are DeAndre Swift and Brian Robinson, and your only other stud receiver is JSN. So, I mean, here's the problem. You got Jaden Daniels, JSN, A.J. Brown, and now Cam Ward. Those are the only real point producers, and I'm just throwing Cam Ward in there, assuming that he's going to be scoring decent amount of points. This is getting a little bit ahead of yourself, and now he's backed himself into the corner where he's got to contend or go for it, because he's gotten rid of both his 26 first and second. He already had traded away his second rounder, so now he's just left with his third and fourth in 26. He still has his 27 first, but now, I mean, if trouble happens and he's contending, he'd have to go dig down into his 27 reserve. I don't know. He does have Kelsey hiding down there on the bottom, so okay, Kelsey and Goddard. I don't know. It's just a patchwork starting lineup, in my opinion, and one injury, like literally, I mean, anybody who's got Jaden Daniels, he goes down. That's going to be hard to recover from. But between A.J. Brown or JSN, you can't expect both of them to play all 17 games. You got to have somewhat of a backup plan, and I just don't feel that Chupis has enough of the firepower to make that happen. So I think this is just a case where he should have tried to wait an extra year. JSN is plenty young. Still can be part of a rebuilding. Jaden Daniels is young. I would have traded away DeAndre Swift and Brian Robinson and played this for the 2026 seasons. This is where he should have gotten rid of those two running backs, gotten as many seconds for them as he can, or package up something else mismatch so he can sneak a first out of someone some which way. But this was just, he's forcing a contender, and I wish you the best here, Chupas. Actually, I don't, because I'm in the league and I'm waiting another season to go and contend. Now, on the other side of this, NLS 2K, this is a great move for a champ coming off that has too much value in his lineup, or too much value on the bench, really, because after trading A.J. Brown, NLS 2K is still left with Jordan Love, Kyler Murray, and Matthew Stafford at quarterback. At running back, Bijan, Jahmyr Gibbs, Josh Jacobs, and Alvin Kamara. Then at wide receiver, Drake London, Zay Flowers, T. Higgins, and Cortland Sutton, and Adam Thielen. Drafted Kyle Williams, so he's still got pieces there. So 4.5 starters. And then at tight end, Sam Laporta, Jonnu Smith. So just checking the taxi. No, nobody down there. So this was a great example of taking the value and banking it. This is a move I love to do with some contenders, especially right now after you've seen what you got out of the rookie draft, and now he's taken advantage of a team that feels like they're ready to contend, but he still has a much better starting lineup after this trade than Chupas does. And so it's going to be tough for Chupas. He might be able to sneak into the playoffs, and we know anything can happen in the playoffs. So I get that. But now NLS 2K is sitting on 226 firsts, one of which is Chupas's, who did not make the playoffs last year. NLS 2K is without his 27 first, but he's got obviously all his picks in 28, and now adds a second in 27 and a second in 28. So NLS 2K does a good job of insulating his contending window here by gaining 2 firsts in 26 that he can play with. He can either use them to help cover an injury that happens mid-season, and on top of it, I mean, A.J. Brown for a first and 2 seconds, I can understand a first and a second, no problem. 2 seconds might be a little steep. I can understand, though, if, like, Chupas was dead set and getting his boy A.J. Brown. You can see there he's a Titans fan, so he still loves A.J. Brown. Can't blame him there. I still love A.J. Brown, whatever team he's on, even if it's the Eagles. But, yeah, this one I just don't love for Chupas' side. NLS 2K, good job on getting out on some extra value that you didn't need to contend right now. He's still got a contender. He's still going to be competing, and he has some extra firsts, extra draft capital in the war chest. So perfect job there, NLS 2K. All right. Now, next up, let's see which trade we want to go look at. Let me take a look. What's the next veteran to talk about here? Okay, here's a juicy one. Okay, this one has my co-host, Matt English, trading with the Fantasy Reaper, and this was from our, trying to remember what league this was from. Oh yes, that's right. This was from our 53-man league, which is going on the draft right now. We'll talk more about this league with Matt English next week when we do a show just devoted to this league, because I'm telling you, this is something that if you haven't tried yet, it's worth trying just for fun, honestly. So, okay, so this 53-man league is the ultimate franchise football league. We don't even refer to it as Dynasty anymore because it literally it's a 53-man best ball league, 12 team. Start 22, 11 offense, 11 defensive players. So imagine a start 11 offense basically is what it is. It's a super flex. Start 2 running backs, 3 wideouts. What is that? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 3 flexes. Okay, so you can start up to 6 wide receivers. I guess 7. Technically, it's best ball, and there's a super flex spot. So you want strong wide receivers. This is a full point tight end premium league, so that helps out the Dalton Kincaid side here, which is the Reapers side. Lemke is Matt English, and so we've got Matt English acquiring Bucky Irving, the 110, and a 27 third thrown in. On the other side, we've got the Reaper collecting Dalton Kincaid in a full point tight end premium, as well as Marvin Harrison. Now, to note, Matt English had 3 firsts going into this deal. Then he acquired the 110 on top of it, which he ended up using for, I can tell you, it was a running back. I know that. And it was, where is it? He used it for, was it RJ Harvey? Yes, RJ Harvey he got. So, oh no, he traded that away, traded back, ended up, traded back to 111 and got Caleb Johnson. All right, so you could kind of just pencil that one in as Caleb Johnson. He did get I think he got a 4th rounder added on. So you could put in Caleb Johnson and a 4th on this deal if you want from Matt English's side, if you want to waterfall the whole trade. But let's break it down here. Marvin Harrison, Bucky Irving. Pretty close now. It depends on how you feel about Bucky. Like, keep trade cut. He's what, running back 5 or something right now. So I'm a Tampa fan, right? And I love Bucky to death, but fantasy wise, I'm still a little leery of it. I'm gonna lean Marv, but you could use those two to cancel each other out. Now Dalton Kincaid for the 110 and or Dalton Kincaid basically for Caleb Johnson, right? Ooh, that's a tough one. Like, Dalton Kincaid has fallen out of good graces. The problem with acquiring Dalton Kincaid right now is you're basically stuck with him, okay? I get it. It is a full point tight end premium league, so yeah, he has some appeal there, but I don't know. I'm going to lean Matt English on this deal because I do like Caleb Johnson. Perfect fit in that Pittsburgh offense. And, you know, Matt, he hammered the running backs here with this deal. Love Marv, so I don't hate it from the Reapers side, but I guess I'll slightly take Matt English on this one. A year from now, we could be laughing and Bucky could fall off a cliff and Marvin Harrison could be Dynasty wide receiver 1. So then it would obviously be the Reapers' advantage. So this could play out both ways. Maybe they both smash and then they both win, right? That's the ideal Dynasty trade. So what are you seeing out there for Bucky Irving? I'm interested to see if we go and look at the trade database on Dynasty Daddy, our friends over there, letting it be free. Great tool, Dynasty Daddy. You can look at war charts. You can look at Most importantly, though, you can look at your league and just where you sit at it in it. It gives you a nice graph showing the values of the rosters of your league mates, and that way you're able to tell if you should try and contend. It labels you as a contender, frisky, a fraud, or that you need to trust the process. Also, just basically rebuilding. But yeah, if you trust the process, that means that you should not be trading for veterans right now. But if we go ahead and bring up the Dynasty Daddy Bucky Irving trade chart, let's do that. Here we go. And so let's do, yeah, we've got pretty much all the scoring formats here. We'll just do 1 point tight end premium, and let's do teams. We'll just do, and 9, 10, 11, and 12 is fine. Okay, so here we go. We've got Bucky Irving for Kenneth Walker and Dalton Kincaid and a half-point premium. There, I'd take the juice with Dalton Kincaid. Here we've got, let me narrow this down to a couple players in the deal, because we can do that. Max asset count, let's do 4. Got too many trades here. Let's narrow the date range. We can do that here. Let's do it within the last. Let's do within the last 2 weeks. Okay. There we go. So. There we go. Okay, so within the last 2 weeks, we've got that Bucky Irving for Kenneth Walker and Dalton Kincaid. Bucky Irving and a third for the 104. So you could get Cam Ward there, a nice receiver in Tet or Hunter. I'm going to lean the 104 pick. Then we've got Travis Hunter and Stephon Diggs for Bucky and a third. Again, I'm going to lean Hunter over Bucky. We've got Bucky and a 27 first for the 105 and 305. There, I would take the Bucky side. You're basically giving up the 105, which is an opportunity to grab a running back. Of course, a year younger than Bucky, but that's just playing wise. Bucky Irving straight up for the 104. Bucky Irving straight up for Rashee Rice. So, I mean, you could see the variance here in Bucky Irving trades. Bucky Irving for the 107 and 207. Bucky Irving straight up for Travion Henderson. So, just looking at the wide variance of trades, like you've got Bucky Irving equal to the 104 in some people's minds, and then in others, you know, you're getting Bucky Irving in a first for the 105 and 305. Like, but it just, if you got Bucky, it's worth kicking the tires on in your leagues right now. Maybe somebody missed out on a running back and they're a little desperate for one. They missed out somehow on one of the big 6 running backs in the rookie drafts. I just think that Bucky can be overvalued in certain people's minds, and so it's worth checking out in your leagues. All right. Let's go back to the trades here. Okay. Let's see what else we've got. Okay. So this one was from our, what league was this from? It's a 12-team Superflex tight end premium. This one was after the draft, and he gave up Brian Thomas. I'm trying to remember which league this was. Was this the max points? Yes. So in our max points league, it's a 2 PPR league. Okay, so definite premium on the wide receivers for this league. This one here, I'll bring it up for you. Okay, so this one is a 12-team start 12 best ball league. And here we are. So we had Matt English trading with for the brand, and we had Matt English giving up Brian Thomas, his 27 second and 26 third, and acquiring Xavier Worthy, Tet McMillan, and a 26 second. So you can kind of cancel out the seconds here. Basically comes down to Tet McMillan and Xavier Worthy for Brian Thomas and a 26 third. Okay, so this one I'm going to slightly lean towards the Brian Thomas end of it, but Matt English, and afterwards he then said that he forgot to take out the 27 second, but it was a little late because for the brand had that's what he needed to accept it, so they kept it. And not that we like going back on deals. I don't know how your leagues feel about it. I think as commissioner, if somebody says something immediately or within like 2-3 minutes and there hasn't been a bunch of reaction in the chat in the league, then I'm as long as both owners are willing to go for it, I'll be fine with it. But for the most part, no rescinding and going back here. So yeah, value-wise, if you throw it up on a calculator, it's a little bit slightly towards for the brand side, which got Brian Thomas. But in a best ball format and wide receiver heavy, I don't mind getting the 2 wide receivers. So I don't hate it from Matt's side, even though he feels like he gave up an extra, 27 second. I mean, that's a couple years out. He can find a way to get a second back. So yeah, I understand it from both ends, playing both angles. Yeah, but I'm going to slightly lean the Brian Thomas side for this. This is one of the more fair deals I've seen for Brian Thomas. There's been some craziness going out there. Brian Thomas has obviously risen after his awesome rookie season. I don't know that I quite put him into the, Chase Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb conversation quite yet, but he's right there with Nico Collins and Amon-Ra. You can kind of, I mean, Amon-Ra's lost a little bit of shine in the market just because of the youth factor with Brian Thomas. So I don't know. It really boils down to what you feel about Tet McMillan, honestly. If you're out on Tet, you would hate this deal. But I don't mind Tet Aroa. And so I see it from both angles here. I do lean the Brian Thomas side, though, personally. All right. What's the next deal we've got here? Do we have any more to go over? Yeah, we got one more. Oh, we've got two more to go over. This one is a quarterback swap. Interesting. one, and this one had our boy Matt English once again, but V. Bullinger gets into the action on this one. This one is from that same league, so there we go. You can see it right behind there. So this one had V. Bullinger, a diehard Vikings fan, we know. He got his boy J.J. McCarthy and Matt English's 27 first for C.J. Stroud and the 27 second there. So this one, you got Stroud versus McCarthy. Stroud is more insulated in value for sure because McCarthy could bomb this year. But at the same time, when I'm taking J.J. McCarthy into consideration, I'm not saying he's Patrick Mahomes, but I remember going back to Patrick Mahomes' first year playing, going into that season. He had sat and watched Alex Smith for an entire year. He had Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill as weapons at his disposal. He had Kareem Hunt coming in as a flashy rookie people were excited about. And I just sat there and looked at it, and I'm like, well, okay, what kind of numbers are you projecting for Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce? Because unless you're projecting a big drop off for those guys, this kid Mahomes is going to put up some numbers because it's going to be damn near impossible for him to screw this up. And that's kind of how I'm looking at McCarthy right now. Like Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, Aaron Jones likes to catch the ball. Like, McCarthy's going to have a hard time to not get to 4,000, 4,500 yards, somewhere in that range. Like, unless you're projecting Justin Jefferson to fall down to like only 1,000 or 1,100 yards, and then Addison only getting like 750, Hawkinson having an off year. Like, McCarthy is going to put up numbers. I don't care who do you think is running this offense? Kevin O'Connell loves to sling it. I don't care how many times McCarthy threw the ball at Michigan. I mean, how many times does it have to be said that Michigan was just blowing people out in the second half? So that's why he did not have pass attempts. He looked totally fine when he was throwing the ball, actually, at Michigan. So, geez, imagine him throwing it 35, 40 times now. I don't know. I lean the McCarthy side here because I do buy into him and him having a good season. CJ Stroud could definitely have a good season. I mean, they added two good, nice rookie wide receivers, both from Iowa State. Still has his boy Nico Collins there, so Stroud should have a solid season. I just don't know fantasy-wise if he'll ever get into the top 5. Now, he could have one monster season out of the next, say, 4 or 5 years. Sure, he could put up 5,000 yards and 40-plus touchdowns one of those years, but that's such an outlier of a season. Like, Joe Burrow can do it because he's got Chase and Chase and Higgins. But Stroud has Nico and then 2 rookies. Like, could they both be awesome? For sure. We'll see. But for now, I'm going to lean the McCarthy side. He's getting the first in that 27 class. That's nice, flashy, and valuable right now. And the other side's just getting the second. So, I don't know. That's where I'm at on it. I'm going to lean McCarthy in this deal for V. Bullinger. All right. Sorry, Matt. Had to squat on your parade there. All right. We got one more deal here, trading for veterans. This one is a veteran running back swap. And this one was after the draft in that same league, and this one was myself getting involved. Now, V. Bullinger had Trey Benson on his roster. He really wanted to have the Arizona backfield on lockdown. I did not really want to trade James Conner because, well, initially he offered James Conner for Tony Pollard straight up. I know that he wasn't expecting that to happen because he said, what do I got to do? But I literally took James Conner in the middle of the 12th, and then Tony Pollard went with the last pick in the 12th round. So I literally took James Conner first over Tony Pollard for a reason. Because even though he's 2 years older, I like the production I'm getting right now out of James Conner. Okay. Now, could Pollard outscore him? Sure, this year. I mean, Conner is known to have a few injuries. You can basically pencil him in, though, to play 13, 14 games. That's pretty much how James Conner rolls, right? But he can finish like top 10 because when he's in there, he's the one getting the ball, all right? We all kind of have a feeling that Trey Benson is good, but he hasn't really shown anything yet, so it's kind of hard to sell me on that, whereas Tajay Spears definitely takes a bigger bite out of the apple from Tony Pollard. But I was able to finagle Kyle Williams out of him, which I do like. I like the bet on Kyle Williams, so that's where I'm going with it. Kind of depends on how you feel about Kyle Williams, if you're going to lean the James Conner side on this. But for now, I'll take Pollard and Kyle Williams. I'm not that hard up on James Conner that I can't move down to Tony Pollard and pick up a bright, flashy rookie wide receiver. And basically for that, I gave up a 26th third, which, I mean, Kyle Williams is going back end of the second, early third in most drafts, so that's pretty much the value there. Pretty even deal, in all honesty, but just wanted to bring up the veteran running back market with this one. So when we're talking going after veteran running backs, somebody like James Conner, you pretty much know what you're getting. I don't mind buying him. He's probably not going to cost any less going forward. I mean, I could only see him costing you more as you get closer to the beginning of the season. Same with Tony Pollard. I mean, once people realize that he's still going to be the main guy there in Tennessee, this Tennessee offense has nowhere to go but up, okay? And Cam Ward's definitely an upgrade from Will Levis at quarterback. I mean, Levis, some of us were high on, me in particular, last year. And that, obviously, we got mayo all over our faces for. But with Cam Ward coming into town, they still have Calvin Ridley, brought in 3 rookie wide receivers, along with a rookie tight end. They still have Chigokankwo. They brought in Tyler Lockett. I don't know how much he'll do other than try and teach the rookies something. But yeah, it's an up-and-coming offense. Again, it can't be much worse than it was last year. So Pollard should, hang around running back 20, 25 range, somewhere in there. Somebody you can plug in, but nobody that's going to win you your league, really. James Conner, on the other hand, when he's hot, he can be pretty hot. And so that's where I was leery of doing this deal. But I went ahead and did it anyway, just because it's best ball, and I liked getting Kyle Williams. We were a little lean at the wide receiver position, so I didn't mind getting an extra body there at the wide receiver position in Kyle Williams. So that's where I'm at with those 2 veteran running backs in particular. We talked about Jonathan Taylor. Maybe there's some other veteran running backs. I don't know that I'm like going out there and trying to actively buy like James Cook. Devon Achane is somebody who, you could look to sell right now. The Miami team, I don't know if they added much to their O-line. They could have used some more help there, I think. They lost their left tackle in free agency, and now everybody's got to shift over, and it just seems kind of like a mess. Teams seem to maybe figure them out a little bit. It's hard to say because Tua was out a lot of games last year, and so if Tua bounces back and actually can get the ball downfield, his ADOT went down last year, and so the whole Miami offense just it took a turn for the worst, really. And honestly, going from over 3 touchdowns per game If you go into my Patreon, you can see the average touchdowns per game for each team. You can see Miami lost over a full touchdown per game last season compared to the 2023 season. So now if Tua bounces back healthy, you get a healthy, excited Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle shows up like he's supposed to, you got Devon Achane, you added Ollie Gordon to bang it in the goal line. I think Miami will do better than last year. I just don't know how much better, okay? And so, Achane I'm not worried about. He's getting his touches one way or the other, whether they're winning and he's getting carries in the fourth quarter, or if they're losing, he's getting tons of checkdowns. And so Achane, some people call him a sell. I don't know. It's hard for me to sell the guy when I know he's getting the kind of workload that he is. And he can take any play to the house. So, Achane's an exciting player, man. I just don't know where I'm at on him. I'm not going out there actively trying to acquire him. So it's one of those deals where, again, we go back to that NLS 2K deal where he had a real strong team last year, and he had excess value. And I'm talking excess value in a lineup league in particular, not best ball, but lineup league. If you have that excess value, some of these running backs are great examples of guys that you can look to unload now rather than when it's too late and some guys that wanted running backs have already traded for them with somebody else. So go ahead and kick the tires in your league, especially at those running back positions. If you're overvalued at the running back position, that's the position I would look to try and maybe sell right now. So, all right. Next week, we've got an exciting week in the Birdhouse. We are starting up some startup mocks. We're going to do a startup mock on Thursday. We should have Dustin from DD in the house along with Matt English to do a startup mock. We'll probably go, I don't know, anywhere from 3 to 5 rounds. We'll see how far we can go. I don't want to sit here and say we're going to go 10 rounds. That's just ridiculous. You guys would all fall asleep. But we've got the Birdhouse 3 League starting up on June 1st. We're going to broadcast the first 10 rounds live for you. So those teams are looking to make some deals before the draft because we're going to run the first 10 rounds with 5 minutes a pick. It's going to be pretty tough to make trades in draft. So this should be an interesting dynamic that we're going to for the Birdhouse 3. We'll see how that one shakes out, and you guys can see how it all shakes out live on the Birdhouse Dynasty show. Don't forget to check out the Patreon. We've got all these trades and more in the Patreon there, as well as my rookie rankings if you're still doing rookies drafts. If you want to see my Dynasty rankings, they are in there as well. Still have to do some updates because I've got to slide all the rookies into there. Hopefully I'll get to that sometime this Memorial Day weekend. But again, the Birdhouse Patreon is patreon.com/Birdhouse Dynasty Show. We've got our Buy Me a Coffee, buymeacoffee.com/Birdhouse Dynasty Show. Throw me a question if you're on the clock and looking for something to do. If you got a deal you're not quite sure of, go ahead. I'll help you out. So that's all I've got for tonight. I want to make sure you click the like and subscribe right down there. Just go ahead and click it. That's what we need to keep the Birdhouse going. And I want to make sure that you remember, stick with me here, you never stop working.